Do not try to put my people in a position where they are incentivized to commit election fraud to avoid a threat you are giving them.
We're now grateful to have Kurt Barr with us. He's the director for elections for St. Charles County. He also served as a Missouri representative for 8 years. He also served our country in the U.S. Air Force for 4 years as well. We're grateful to have him in today. It's been a while since we've talked, my friend, but I've always had a good feeling about you. When I first did my first story with you from Fox 2, I was like, damn, we get straightforward. You're not somebody who's ever trying to make up stories. I found you to be somebody who's honest, straightforward, and you have to be that when you're in a position of taking care of elections. But something happened with voting 2 nights ago, and we wanted to invite you in. So tell us what happened Tuesday night with the St. Charles County councilman. And I believe in being fair. And I said earlier in the show, we invited this councilman who you'll talk about on to give his opinion as well later on if he wanted to. But I said it earlier, when I read what happened, it concerned me a little bit. So I'll deal with that with the other person later. But what happened and where are you guys at right now? Because elections are getting people really riled up since 2020.
Elections are getting people riled up, and there's a concern that the integrity of the election is not as good as it should be. And I take it very serious that the security, the accuracy, the integrity of the election is of utmost importance. And I want to make sure that elections in St. Charles County are as accurate and secure as possible. This particular councilman, he and I have had, as he put it, banter back and forth for several years.
This is Councilman Joe Brazel.
Councilman Joe Brazel, the second council district in St. Charles County. But last year, he tried to defund the election authority office, which would have required all of my employees to be fired. If there's no money for the election authority, then there's no jobs for these county employees. And so last year, he tried to fire my entire staff, which it didn't go anywhere. Nobody supported that amendment to our budget, but that was the first attack against my office. The second attack, which is far more egregious, was what happened Tuesday night. While we were still in the process of tabulating the election results and reporting the election results, he contacted my deputy and he said, "This is a disaster. What's going on? This is taking too long. Where are the results?" And then my deputy's like, "We were just about to post a large chunk of the results." He said, "Okay, go ahead and refresh your screen. You'll see the new results."
Your deputy told Councilman Brazel to refresh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the councilman then says, "The conservative candidates aren't winning. We are going to do a deep dive. You are all going to jail." Once he said that my staff is going to be imprisoned for doing their job and the results aren't what he personally liked, that was unprofessional. That was an abuse of power. And at that point, I'm like, no, I cannot tolerate another elected official trying to bully his way, trying to influence the election. We were still tabulating the election. If my deputy said, "Oh my goodness, I don't want to go to jail, we need to modify the election," then we would have been guilty of a felony and a misdemeanor under election law. Do not try to put my people in a position where they are incentivized to commit election fraud to avoid a threat you are giving them.
Okay, this story is blown up, not only blown up in the St. Louis metropolitan area, but it's starting to get some national play as well. What do you want? What needs to happen or what can happen because of everything that you said? And I don't know if Joe Brazel has denied that this has happened. Has he, from what you've seen?
In his reply to the Post-Dispatch, he did not deny it, and he made a rather rude comment about me. So I took that as doubling down that, yes, he in fact, said it. Now, what he said is in that article is, "I don't want all of you to go to jail, but Kurt should go to jail, and then Kurt can go F himself." I'm like, great, I appreciate that.